test is not reliable. Remember, if the test items are not reliable, there is no question of validity, because it is very clear that the items are not measuring a common cause. So the question of whether that common cause is actually the latent construct does not arise, right? So therefore, remember, reliability is a necessary but not sufficient condition for validity. Right? So you are measuring essentially an example of weighing machine. Again, yesterday I was saying a reliable weighing machine is if you stand on it 5 times, you get same score, right? You are getting similar score. But if you are so if I stand on it 5 times, I remember yesterday I said 70, 70, 70, 70, and 70, right? I get 70, 70, 75 times. So I can say that the machine is reliable and I am getting a score of 70. But is this the true score? The true score could actually be 66, right? So this is reliability, and this is validity, right? So these are uh, right. So that is what we. Reliability is a necessary but not sufficient condition. I have talked about this already. Lack of reliability means that there is a lot of measurement error. Lack of reliability means that there is measurement error because you are uh, uh, the item is not behaving properly. So, for example, let me just come to this thing, right? These are the measurement errors: error associated with item 1, error associated with item 2, error associated with item 3. Now, if there is a lot of random error, if that means there is a lot of error here, so that means there is a lot of contamination with I1. So, if there is error here, then this score is going to be random, right? So there is going to be a lot of randomness that is going to be introduced in I1. Similarly, there is going to be randomness associated with I2 if there is a lot of measurement error. And remember, yesterday I told that when you have random numbers and you correlate them, then the correlation goes down. So if you have random errors, if you have errors in the measurement, right, then the inter-item correlation will go down. It will decrease the correlation that is there between I1 and I2. And if the correlation goes down, then your reliability of the scale goes down. So by testing reliability, okay, uh, reliability testing, reliability testing test shows that there is low or no or less random measurement error. Remember, I am not writing systematic measurement error. I showed you yesterday when we were discussing about measurement errors, I showed you that randomness, remember, randomness always reduces correlation. Remember this, it will always reduce. Whereas systematic bias can increase also, can decrease also, can also let the correlation unchanged. So even if there is systematic error, even if there is systematic error, okay, reliability can still be high. So reliability test cannot tackle or cannot talk about systematic measurement error. That needs to be tackled only through different changing of your scoring method, the kind of respondents you have for the scale and so on. But it can definitely tell us that this is something that reliability can definitely prove, that there is no randomness associated in the data. There is less randomness in the data, right? So that is something that, so by definition, actually reliable items, remember, by definition reliable items are collinear. There is multicollinearity, as we say, or they are correlated, right? So they are going to be correlated, and that is what we want to achieve, because if there are reliable items, then they are measuring some common cause, right? And that is what we are interested in, measuring some common cause for our uh, data, right? In our construct, right? And how is reliability measured? Reliability is nothing but true variance divided by the total variance. So remember, we have this is what I have written: x observed is equal to x true plus measurement error associated with x. This is the observed value. This is the true construct, true latent construct, and then this is the measurement error, right? Now, what is reliability? Reliability is defined as nothing but the the variance captured by the items, that is variance of the true divided by the total variance that is there in the observed. Remember, observed will always be more because there is some measurement error that has come in through the way we have measured our items, right? And we know variance of x naught is nothing but variance of x true plus variance of measurement error x. So I can write x variance of x true is nothing but variance of x observed minus variance of measurement error x. If I substitute this on the top, what will I get? I will get variance of x naught minus variance of measurement error x whole divided by variance of x observed, right? So it will be 1 minus measurement error divided by variance of x observed. Remember again, I am repeating, it is always x observed is equal to x true plus measurement error, because you see, this is the true construct, this has no confounding. In the true, we have added some error of measurement which has become our x observed. So what will happen is that variance of x observed will always be more, because there is also an addition of some measurement error that has come in into the uh, into uh, the observed value that we have got, right? So that is why we, right, And that is what I have written here. Reliability is true variance by observed variance, and 1 minus, if you solve this equation, 1 minus, this is nothing but this can be written as nothing but 1 minus variance of the error, or error variance, whole divided by, or not whole, 1 minus variance of observed, right? This is what I have written. Okay, so don't get frightened with this figure that I have shown. This is just to show you. So if you look at this is nothing but covariance of item 1 and 2. This is nothing but covariance of item 1 and 3, and this is covariance of item 2 and 3, right? Now, what are these? These are variances. Sigma 1 square, sigma 2 square, sigma. So what is the communal value or the commonality? What is the shared variance? What do I share? If you look at this diagram that we had drawn, if you look at this diagram that we had drawn here, what is it that I share between the two? It is the correlation or covariance. So that is an estimate of the common source, right? Common source. And what is the uniqueness that is associated with me? Which is, this is an estimate of the error that I have, right? And therefore, the alpha formula is k divided by k plus 1, 1 minus summation of the errors. So summation sigma 1 square, sigma 2 square, sigma 3 square, non-communal. So summation of sigma I squares whole divided, this divided by the total variance, which is the sum of all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 values in the diagram, which is nothing but this formula that we had written, 1 minus, remember we had written 1 minus error variance divided by total observed variance. So what is the total observed variance? This is variance x observed, and this term is variance of the measurement error associated with the items. What is this k? K is number of items, which in this case is equal to 3. 1, 2 and 3, there are 3 items. So number of items, and k divided by k minus 1. So this is a simple formula for how alpha is calculated through variance. A still simpler formula, which is actually called as the Cronbach's alpha. This is also, by the way, this is also Cronbach's alpha. Okay, this is computed through covariance terms. This is a formula for Cronbach alpha, which is k r bar divided by 1 plus k minus 1 r bar, where k is the number of items and r bar here, okay, r bar here is average inter item correlation. Average inter-item correlation. So let us do a small exercise. Okay, everybody, you can pick up a paper and pen. Okay, and let us do a small reliability computation. Okay, so we are going to compute reliability by hand. Let us say we have a scale to measure our construct which has 3 items. K is equal to and I'm going to draw an inter-item correlation matrix. So this is my table of 3 items. This is my inter-item correlation table. I have 3 items, I1, I2 and I3, right? What is the diagonal element in a correlation table? It is always 1 because item correlated with itself is 1. This is I1, I2, I3. This is inter-item correlation table. So the diagonal elements I1 with I1 is 100% correlated. So the correlation is 1. I2 with I2 is also 100% correlated. And I3 with I3 is also 100%. Now this is R12, which is equal to, let's say for our case, is 0.5. Then R13, that is correlation of 1 with item 3, is, let's say, is 0.6. And correlation of R23 is equal to let's say 7. Now I ask you, and this is going to be mirror image. So R12 is equal to R21, which is also 0.5. R31 is also going to be 0.6. And R32 is also going to be 0.7. So this is mirror image above the diagram. Now we know the alpha formula, which is K R bar whole divided by 1 plus K minus 1 R bar, where R bar is nothing but average inter-item correlation. Right? Now, all of you, the task is compute alpha by hand. Without going to the software, we are going to compute alpha by hand. Can you do it on your papers very quickly, within a minute? Done? Okay, so let us see how we will do it. Okay, people who have done it, very good. Let us see what would be. So K R bar. First of all, let us compute R bar. What is going to be R bar? R bar is inter-item correlation. So 0.5 plus 0.6 plus 0.7 whole divided by 3, which is equal to 0.6. Correct? So what will be our alpha? Alpha is going to be 3 times 0.6 whole divided by 1 plus 2 times K minus 1 is 2 times 0.6, which is equal to 1.8 divided by 2.2, which is equal to
9 by 11.
9 by 11, and this is going to give you an estimate of Is that okay? Around 0.8. So I am seeing a lot of responses which are same 0.818 and so on. So what have we got? We have by our hand computed the inter item correlation and computed the Cronbach's alpha. And this is exactly, and the rule of thumb is that Cronbach's alpha should be greater than 0.70. This shows that there is very good consistency and the items are, which implies that items are measuring a common cause, right? And now that the items are reliable, we can talk about whether they are valid or not. Only when the items or the scale is reliable can we now talk about whether it is valid or not. So remember, every time you will write your paper, every time you will collect data, you will always write or report reliability. You will always report reliability. Always. For all your measures, you will report Cronbach's alpha. You will do reliability, you will do validity when you are developing new scales. Else you will cite paper from which you have picked your scale, cite paper that has the scale or measure if you are using already developed. Okay,